Welcome to Iblis Manifestations. Okay, guys, it's an absolute pleasure to have you both, the lady and gentleman behind Orgiym Satanicvm. It's a pleasure to have you both on Iblis Manifestations. How are you guys doing tonight?
Really good. It's an honor to be on Iblis. It really is.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having
us.
Thank
you for having us.
Thank you. It's absolutely my pleasure. I also have to give shout out and credit to my very good friend Christopher, aka Necrosorns, for hooking us up. He's a great guy. He does a lot of work. He never stops. He's the only other person I know, other than myself, who is just like never switched off. So kudos to him for making this connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is he going to be at your event for this one?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let's start since well, I mean that gives us the perfect start to everything, because since he was the person who connected us, we are actually extremely proud to have him as our featured festival photographer for the second year in a row. And unbelievably enough, Orgiym this year was the first Norwegian festival that invited him for doing that, and for having his exhibition, which is amazing considering he's done so many Norwegian bands. He's done so many legendary photo shoots of Norwegian black metal bands, including of course the iconic Darvasa photo, and of course this year Darvasa played at the festival, so that was the perfect connection right there.
It's a natural
Absolutely.
Talk. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that photo I saw the other day. Apparently, it's like the 2-year anniversary of that all happening. I was like, I can't fucking believe that. Because he actually came on the podcast, like, because he got stuck in Israel when they were like getting attacked at the time, and then he couldn't come out. And then when he left and then he came back, straight away we did a podcast episode together, and he basically told his accounts of what happened there. But I can't believe that was 2 years ago. That's just, I don't know, like time just seems to have completely fucking gone out of the window. But yeah, and of course, just coming back to your point, congratulations for obviously being the first Norwegian festival to offer him an exhibition. It's kind of like one of those things, like what took it so long, but I guess you guys had to be the ones to take the chance. So maybe let's talk a little bit more about the festival. So Orgiym Satanicvm, first of all, I'm personally yet to attend, but I'm very much looking forward to visiting one of the events. Hopefully, maybe even this very next one. I know it's not too far away now. But one thing that I really like about you guys is that I know you're very much into your underground attitude, and you're very much about the integrity of this music. So what can you tell us, so in your own words, what do you think is the thing that sets apart Orgiym Satanicvm to perhaps some of the other festivals out there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the third time we've been organizing it. Before that, there were 2 years of Origin before the pandemic, but we weren't involved then. So the first year that we got involved, we experimented a little bit with a couple of big headliners. We had 1349 and Marduk, but we also had the very first show ever by Jordsjuk with Lloyd from Kolbrand and with we had some exclusive shows that year.
Yeah, we had the first Havrekrone
Yeah, first time Havrekrone played
in Scandinavia.
in Scandinavia, yeah.
Killer.
And
things like that.
yeah, and this year we had three bands that had their live debuts, and not just any old bands. That was the first show ever by Ruim. We had the first show by Vater, which is with Jörn Tunsberg, who's played in Old Immortal and Old Funeral and those bands, and also the first, and as far as we know, the only show so far by Dødheimsgard's alter ego Dødsmaghird.
Yeah.
So of course it's cool to have huge headliners, but we've gone even more underground, and we've started focusing even more on bands that haven't played in Norway for ages or at all, bands that you don't see on every single Norwegian or European festival throughout the year. I mean, we didn't want to be, and no offense to anyone, because we obviously love bands like the big ones like Mayhem. We love Enslaved. I mean, of course, who wouldn't have them if you're a big festival? But you can see some of the bands rotating between the main Norwegian extreme metal festivals, and we wanted to do something completely different from that.
Yes, we want bands that you don't see too often, and well, we are not even medium sized. We are a small festival, and then we can have the freedom to invite the small names, but no smaller. Don't mean like that, but how to express it.
The more underground names, cult, if you want to call it.
Yes, absolutely, but not referring to popularity.
Yeah,
because they have really die-hard fans, and we know that these are bands that people would really like to see for the first time, or see maybe on the second time. And of course, we want to have them ourselves. This is our personal taste in music as well, very much. So yeah, little ego trip right there.
That's amazing. I think that's the perfect attitude to have, really, is any kind of involvement. I think that this is just a general rule of thumb. Any kind of involvement you want to have with the music industry, I think, especially in metal and in the underground metal, first and foremost should come from a place of passion and being a fan in the first place. Otherwise, you're probably not gonna get it, and we see it often, when people from the outside, when they get involved, they usually just fuck things up, and that's a common thing that happens here. One thing that you mentioned there, I just remembered that you guys did in fact host the very first Ruim show. How was that? Because I watched the second show, which was I think it was at Fortress Fest in UK, and it just blew my fucking mind. But just tell me about it. Like, what was that show like for you guys?
I'm getting chills. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you do the talking. As you may have already noticed, his English is way better than mine. So,
you're doing absolutely fine. But yes, please carry on.
Yeah.
But I mean, It was so cool. I've known Rune for years. So I sent him a message asking if Ruim had any live plans at all, and I got really lucky with the timing there. So we got that show, and of course by the time between that booking and the actual show, they also won the Norwegian Spellemannpris, the Norwegian Grammy for the best metal album, and Rune is all over the place touring with Aura Noir and with I Am Morbid, but he's such a seasoned guitar player,
With
and
Ultimus.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Ultimus, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not I'm already Ultimus, but yeah, and he's I've seen him with Mayhem and with Ultimus. I've seen him so many times live, but it was such an honor to actually witness him as that front person for the first time, and you could see that this was a big moment for him, for us, for everyone in the crowd.
Yeah. And also, I think that, Park Teatre is a very special venue. It's an old cinema, and it takes 500 people. And again, this sound there is so spectacular and so perfect for music like his music or Ruim's music. So it was, people were like blown away. It was, remember the silent parts, and people were just like, could hear it was beautiful.
Yeah. No, I remember when we watched it. I think it was end of May at Fortress Fest in Scarborough, and the whole show was just a fucking trip. Like everything from the psychedelic intro to the just to the overall performance, and his vocals. I wasn't expecting that. Like his vocals sounded fucking tremendous. Hi there everyone, just a quick moment of your time. This is to let you know that my band TRIVAX will be performing all across Europe come this November and December. We are going to be going on tour to support Absu joining forces with Zemail to do the 30-year anniversary of the Son of Tifereth album. And we will also be joined by Ancient. So this is quite a legendary lineup, as you can already understand, and it's an honor for us to be a part of it. District 19 are doing the courtesy of organizing this run, and we're going to be playing a lot of different places. We're going to be doing quite a number of shows in Germany. We will be playing in Italy, in Belgium, Netherlands, France, Austria, Switzerland, and that includes Eindhoven Metal Meeting, Brain Crusher from Hell in Germany, and Unholy Congregation in Belgium. And it's going to be a blast. We're very much looking forward to it. And of course, we're going to be playing in Poland as well, which will be TRIVAX's first time. This is going to be a very special run, and we are going to be supporting our album The Great Satan, which came out via Osmos Productions on the 30th of May earlier this year. So you can expect to hear a lot of those songs, and you can also expect to see us at the merch table. So please, if you're a fan of the podcast, feel free to come along and say hello at the merch table. I will be around, and so will the rest of TRIVAX, and we look forward to seeing you all in the flesh. There will be a number of other shows that TRIVAX are also doing outside of the tour, so make sure to keep an eye out on those as well. And of course, if you do also wish to support TRIVAX, you can visit our Bandcamp page. We've got very limited number of copies of The Great Satan available on there. If you go and check out and your format of choice is currently sold out, you can also get your copies directly from Osmos Productions. And with that said, thank you for your support and enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, on stage, I guess on every one of the few shows they've done so far, they've had a guest vocalist doing at least one of the songs from the album, or was it just the two Mayhem songs? And in Oslo at Orgivm, that was Wrath from Darvasa.
Mm-hmm.
They've had Nog from Shooter doing guest vocals with them in that Midgårdsblot, I guess. But he doesn't need that because his vocals are just as amazing as as if that's what he's been doing, what he had been doing for ages.
Yes, yeah, very well put. I think that's kind of the thing, like you would never think that, oh yeah, that's like the first act that we've seen properly where he's actually doing vocals and playing at the same time, which as a guitarist and vocalist, I can tell you it's no easy feat to do that, so kudos and credits. Okay, so that's very cool. I mean, just coming back into it as well, because one thing that the people also need to understand is that I always say I take my hat off to anyone who takes any kind of personal or like financial risks and sacrifices just to allow for this music to happen. Now, that can be the case if you're a musician, but it can also be the case sometimes more so if you're a promoter or a label, or if that's the thing that you're trying to put together. But that's what facilitates for this music and, more importantly, this culture carrying on. So what are perhaps some of the things that people who might be looking from the outside thinking, oh, this is just another event, there's probably lots of money behind it or whatever, what are perhaps some of the common misconceptions about an underground festival like this that you would want to set straight for people?
Well, I need to say that there are a lot of festivals that have huge organizations behind them. Obviously, we don't have a Live Nation. We don't have we don't have a huge booking machine behind us. We're doing this. This is extremely
Do it yourself.
extremely. Really, that's it. And we are doing this from the viewpoint of being fans ourselves. We want to stay at the same venue because it's a brilliant venue, like Helene said. We have made sure to have one of the best front of house people in Norway, who's done so many black metal shows, including recorded concerts from bands like Tåke. We have, I mean, the venue, like you said, it's an old movie theater, so the floor slants. So even at a sold out concert, you don't need to be 3 meters tall to see the band performing on stage.
Yeah, it's a very charming place.
Yeah. And the bands are happy with the sound. The audience can see and hear everything perfectly fine. There's no. We're not, of course, being an indoors festival as well, that helps a lot with no need to set up our own stage and no risk of the wind or anything getting in the way of a good experience.
Absolutely. And also the fact that it's in January as well. I mean, Oslo, I've been to Oslo a number of times. I know it gets pretty cold around that time of the year, so you kind of have the perfect setting. But also, if you're going to be a tourist anywhere and be okay with being cold, it's got to be in either Norway or Sweden, right? Because of the music association, because you don't go and play black metal on a sunny beach, do you? So
that's true. That's true. I mean, all respect to any black metal band who plays at 70K or anything like that, but it must be weird seeing a band like, let's say, Mayhem or whoever with playing for people in their swimsuits jumping into the swimming pool.
Yeah, of course. I am only joking. Although, you know what, saying that, when I was at, it was at, I think it was at Inferno, just this year, I was talking to this gentleman and I was joking to him. I was like, if you think about it, like I propose the conspiracy theory, okay, and I'll share that with you guys. Black metal is a psyop by the Norwegian government to convince people to go on holidays there even when the weather's shit. Tell me, Like, prove me wrong. So basically, you know, because obviously, like, what other country in the world, or what other places do you have where it's gonna be fucking freezing cold, but then tourists from all over the world will actually pay money to go there for holidays, except for, say, Norway, you know, because of the authentic black metal experience.
Well, you got us there. You got us
Good
there.
question.
Yeah, we've been trying to cover this up for ages, but yeah.
Oh, I see.
Maybe Iceland.
Yeah.
Maybe Iceland. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, that's what it's just a stupid theory I came up with.
We have been getting comments on our social media posts from people all over the world, hoping for as much darkness as possible, hoping for snow and the freezing cold, because it really puts the music into the right perspective, and you get into the right frame of mind.
Absolutely, yeah. I know for a fact. It was like that when I visited Trondheim. I was visiting my friend Rath, who you mentioned, and he took me to the main cathedral there, which is obviously on the cover of the Mysteries, and, you know, classic place, you know, with all the different like saints and statues and whatever that's on the other side of it. This was a while ago now. It's like 3.5 years ago, but it was very snowy, like knee deep in snow. And I appreciated it more just for that reason. It's just such a vibe up there that you can't really recreate anywhere else. Just coming back into it, so how did you guys actually get started? Had you both been working on events for a long time, or was this just something that you only started recently? Like, when did your involvement start with music?
Yeah, well, we became neighbors with the founder of the festival. His name is Andlov. He started the whole thing in 2019. And in 2022, we became neighbors here, and he wanted to do Orgiym again. So he asked Espen, do you want to join? And he's a yes man, so of course, no head. I've never done this before, so that'll be fine. And then we sat down to talk in our living room, and I was there, and I had a lot of things to say about bands and stuff, so then we were three. That's how it started.
Yeah, a lot of things to say. That meaning that her knowledge of the genre is so great that it would have been stupid not to involve Helene as well.
Stupid.
There you go. No, that's great credit. So how long have you been involved with music prior to this? Can you maybe tell us a little bit about both of your backgrounds then?
Well, I actually have a background from the Norwegian music industry. Since I was 14, I worked in record shops and moved on to worked in some of the both bigger and smaller Norwegian record companies. I've also been the editor for the Norwegian version of Metal Hammer for, well, 10 years or something. So I did have that background, but apart from booking a couple of bands at my own birthday parties, I've never been involved with anything like even remotely close to this before. So yeah, like Helene said, I'm a yes man. And when Anlov asked, do you want to join? I thought, well, I've never done this before. It requires a lot of time. There's a big chance that everything will just blow up right in our faces. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it. If it sounds fun.
It was a great chance, and we really wanted to be a part of this. And I mean, it's like vad heter livsglädje på engelsk? Joy of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you were to maybe go back to yourself when you were first having that meeting, having now done a number of editions of the festival, what would you say to yourself to do, and also rather what not to do as well? Because I know that this is one of those things that there's no blueprint for how to run a festival. There's no blueprint to how to organize, especially underground events in 2022, 23, 24, 25. So what are some of the things that perhaps you've learned in this time that you would wish you could tell yourself when you started?
Oh,
Well,
the list is long.
let's just say
We've
that
got time.
Yeah. No, but of course we've had a very steep learning curve. The main mistake, the main oversight that we did the first year was that we miscalculated the amount of volunteers we would need as drivers and backstage hands and band contacts and merch handlers as well. We also but that wasn't our fault. We didn't have any plan B when it came to transportation, because that first year was one of the coldest winters in Norway ever. So there were a few transportation issues. But yeah, I would say the main thing is that we would have been we should have started way before we did getting the festival volunteers on hand. Apart from that, I'm not going to say that we haven't made mistakes, but there's not been any mistakes or anything that we haven't been able to correct there and then and learn from. So we've been part really lucky, and with again our eternal hails to the people at the venue, because these are such professional people that they actually make us look good. So even the first year we got positive feedback from some of the bands about how professional we were, when we knew that this wasn't really meant for us. This was the people who have done it so many times before, that we could concentrate on running the rest of the show.
Yeah, and also we had volunteers that were very experienced and have been doing that for years. So all hails to them too. So without them, they solved problems instantly for us also. So we could never do without them. So eternal hails to them.
That's fantastic. Also, just more of a personal question, but I know that Espen, you just said that you've been involved with the music industry and a journalist for quite a long time. But do either of you or both of you have any kind of jobs or careers outside of music?
Yeah,
we have day jobs. Yeah. We have day jobs. This is basically. I mean, we would love to be able to do this full time, but there's not even that's not going to happen in a long time, if ever. So I mean, that's the reason why we're doing a festival in January instead of booking bands all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. Yeah, well, of course. Well, this is the thing. There's a bit of a method behind the madness why I ask that question as well, because it's just to kind of showcase to people that what happens and what you see on that stage is purely essentially personal risks from your guys' end, right?
Yeah.
There you 100%. Go. There you go. Well, you have my respect for that, because you need that. And the thing is that, there are other events that have a lot more backing behind them, some even like government backing, which is actually in Scandinavia, that's not unheard of at all. But in the grand scheme of things, you do have that. But ultimately, there's only so many bands, there's only so many festivals, and there's only so many countries where this music is actually popular enough where you can make it a thing, where you can make it work. Like, for example, even earlier where you mentioned about all those bands that you named, like Mayhem or Enslaved, like doing basically like doing the circuits, and then you basically always see them headlining certain festivals and playing certain places, and then it's basically always the same bands. The problem with that is that it's because there's not many bands of that size and stature who can actually sell tickets, and in fact, even, perhaps even some of the bands that I named, even they'll undersell on like a US tour or whatever, just because, they've already played everywhere else to death, so it's a hard thing to make work. But what I think the thing that glues it all together is that passion of the music, that we actually love this music enough where we want to put it on for people, and then there's enough people who love the music enough where they actually attend the show, and that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. And after the first one we did with Mardigan in 1349, afterwards when the dust has settled, we sat down and talked about this. Okay, where do we want to go from here? Do we want to grow and become bigger and bigger? Do we want to end up at Rockefeller's or another bigger venue, or do we want to take it somewhere completely different? And we both agreed that we'd rather take a step, I won't say a step down, but a step to the side, in a different direction. Having a band like Ruim being big enough for us to put on as headliners, have a band like Mortuary Drape or Sinmara or Bulldozer. These bands are big enough to draw crowds, especially considering what we want to deliver is the full package. So we have some bands that need to play last, but one particular badge of honor that we've gotten is the fact that both of the last 2 years we've sold out the early or the blind bird tickets,
Right.
100%. So people apparently trust us enough to buy the tickets before even knowing any of the bands, because they know that we want to deliver an experience, something that there is a logic to it. There is a method to our thoughts.
Total helhet.
Yeah, the whole package.
So we're kind of moving away from the headliner idea, if you understand what I mean, and not thinking, people shall travel for the whole lineup and not only for maybe 4 or 5 of the bands, but everyone is specially chosen, and everyone is just as important.
We like to think of what we do as curating and not just booking, which I know is a really fancy thing to say, but we want to make sure that people show up for the first band, because they are just as important as the last band. And we ended up by coincidence the two years we've done this now with the first show of the entire festival being a debut concert by veterans, and we're doing the same thing again in January 2026, and we managed to pull that off. So most people show up early and stay for the entire evening. It's not one headliner with 4 support acts. It's a full package.
Yeah, the party starts with the first band. So we have only done this for 2 years, but that experience has been the same both these years.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm a big fan of that style of thinking, like curating you mentioned. I'm a big fan of that. I've actually really liked it where I've been to certain events where like the opening band may not necessarily be the biggest band of the festival, obviously, but then there's a lot of importance behind it. So it's a band that everyone wants to check out. So everyone already gets to the venue and is ready for that opening band, and then that kind of, I think it's actually very important to me anyway, to start on a high note, and it's not to say that it's going to go down or anything, but this idea that, the event starts from rock bottom and slowly makes its way up. I think open on a high note and then just kind of curate it from there, as you as you put it down very eloquently. Hey, just a quick moment of your time. For the past 3 years, Iblis Manifestations has been entirely self-funded. This means that every subscription fee, every piece of equipment, all of the travel expenses have come out of my own pocket. Over time, people have asked me how they can support the podcast, and to be honest with you, up until now, the answer's been pretty straightforward, and that is simply spread the word. But now, there's another way. I have set up a Patreon account where followers of the podcast will be able to make monthly donations to the podcast, and this will help cover the costs of streaming gear and basically everything else that goes into making this show. This isn't about making a profit, and to be completely honest, it's not about breaking even either, because that's certainly not been the case for the last 3 years. However, if you do find value in the conversations that we're having on this podcast and wish to help them forward, then you can now support the show. Just head to the link in description and hit the Patreon button. In addition to that, be sure to check out the Iblis Manifestations Big Cartel page, where we will be selling exclusive merchandise for the podcast. At the moment, we got the Extreme Podcast for Extreme People t-shirts, limited to only 30 copies, and the pre-orders will be sent out from the 1st of July. So the link for that is in the description. And in the future, the Big Cartel page will also include some occult accessories and jewelry, which will be handcrafted by myself. And we will also be selling merch and records by other bands as Iblis will expand into a label of its own. And, of course, it goes without saying, thank you for supporting Iblis Manifestations. It is much appreciated. The one thing I'd really like for us to do is to actually take a look at the lineup for this upcoming year, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we certainly don't mind. That's what we're here. And,
Yes.
and like we mentioned, we've been trying to book some special bands every year, and this time it's one of the most, I would say, exclusive lineups we've had, because I mean and it's worth mentioning that we are a small festival, like Helene said. We have one stage. We have 5 bands a day for 2 days. So of course with just room for 10 bands, we need to make it, again, every single band counts. Every single band is there for a reason, and half of the bands this time have never played in Norway before, including the first one, openers of the festival, is Unholy Craft, the Norwegians, who are doing their debut show, their first show ever.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. Okay. Right. Unholy Craft. Yeah, I'm just looking it up now. Very cool. And I also noticed that our friends in Vortex Event are playing as well.
Vortex Event, first show in Norway. Heksenbrett are doing their first Norwegian show ever. Deathless Void, their first Norwegian show ever.
Very cool.
And Lucifer also doing their first Norwegian show ever. So that's 5 bands right there, never having played in Norway or ever before.
That's fantastic, really.
Yeah, we are, and these bands represent. I mean, obviously it's all underground, but they represent the variation and what's exciting in the black metal scene or blackened metal scene for the last, I don't know how many years, and it's so exciting to have such cool bands that are blackened, but there is a huge variation anyway.
Oh yes, definitely. So for example, like just I don't think there's like any sort of typical black metal bands from the lineup that I'm looking at, but in fact it's actually more so bands of the side of black metal that, at least in 2025, I'm far more attracted to. Like for example, like I said, Vortex Event you've got there. I don't know if you've actually seen them live or not, but they're a really good fucking live band. They're excellent.
No.
Yeah. No,
we needed to book them.
Yes. That's it. Yeah. Instead of you flying to a concert, you just like get them to come and play for you instead. That's the way to do it, man. Yeah. Absolutely. And
it's have Vagus Nox of Vortex of End having him back. He plays with Ruim, you know, so
Yes, 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 that's right.
yeah, so
Absolutely. Yeah, no,
sure.
that's fantastic. And again, Sinmara as well. I actually worked with those guys a couple of years ago at Cosmic Void. I was their stage manager. But obviously, I've known the band since like their first album came out, and
Yeah.
they are fucking flawless. Like such a good band to watch live. You know, just the guitar work and the intricacy of some of the stuff. You know, obviously a lot of Despel Omega influence, but like the way they kind of turned it around, you know, when them and Svarti Dadi were around, you know, in like 2000, like, well, 2014, 13, you know, like around that time was just like the kind of golden time of Icelandic black metal. And they are so good to watch live. That's all I can say, you know, to anyone who's attending. And I know
Yeah,
they don't play
and
live that often either, really.
no, they are actually one of the two least exclusive bands on the festival. And when January comes, that will be the first time they play Norway in 7 years, because they have played here since 2019.
Exactly.
And if we are hoping to get some new music before that, that would of course be amazing. But yeah, it's been a while since their last album, so who
Maybe
knows?
they have a surprise for us.
Yeah, we're keeping
Let's
fingers crossed for that.
pray for that.
I'll message him now. I'm like, guys, a surprise is needed at this event. You've got 3 months. No, they're great guys. They have my respect. And then of course you've got Lucifer, fantastic death metal band. I watched them with Magua some years ago in 2019. They were fucking
All right.
killer. Great on the record too. Good for the gym. You know, any band that's good for the gym, I approve of. And then you got Disaster and Bulldozer as like a classic kind of high energy kind of party kind of vibe to the end of the event. I can again Curating. I give you guys credit for that. That's quite nicely put together to
Thank
round
you
it
so
off
much.
there.
And that will be Disaster's first show in Norway in 20 years.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Wow,
I know.
That's crazy.
And the great thing is that I mean, it's not just a nostalgic trip either, because I mean their latest album is it's killer. It's so amazing. So I'm looking forward
Right?
to hearing new songs as much as the old material.
Yeah, no, the new stuff's actually really good. Their guitarist, his name escapes me, but he's a super nice guy, you know, and obviously you can tell they've worked very hard for that band over the years. Because that's another band I did stage managing for as well, you know, and they were very easy to get along with, very cool, and yeah, just you know, like a classic band. The fact that, you know, some of these bands with like their style and the attitude that they have, the fact that they're still going all
Yeah.
these years, you know, that's just admirable. You know, I don't know what to say. They never caved in or wimped out. They're still doing it, you know. So I can only, like, as a fan and fellow artist, only respect them for that.
Absolutely.
And people
then-
can see
then,
them at your festival. That's the next important thing.
Yeah. And then there's the mighty Faustkoven, who, even though they are Norwegian, they played in Sweden this year.
Yeah, at the Abyss with the Negative Plane.
Yeah, but they haven't played in their own home country since 2019 either. So it's going to be a return to the Norwegian stage for them.
That's fantastic. What would you, let's say, you know, in a perfect world, what would you want the people who are buying tickets to Orgiym Satanicvm to walk away from the event with?
A unique experience, basically, and again, there's already been a few of those, including the first shows by some of the bands that we've had ever. But there's also been moments like when Billy Messiah came up on stage doing Death Crush with Daeva this year. Just the feeling that what you get is something
Extra.
Yeah, it's something extra. We can never be as big as Beyond the Gates or Inferno or Cosmic Void or Fortress, but we we feel that we have the same kind of kindred spirit to those festivals. We have the same passion for the music and for the bands, and again, we know that every single band will look and sound absolutely amazing on the stage.
I was going to say that top class quality of the production. That is very important.
Fantastic. There we go, guys. Very, very excited for your event. I really wish you both the best. And also, thank you so much for this conversation as well. This has been a lot of fun. I hope it's been fun for you as well.
Absolutely. Just I think we can. It's slightly unfair. We've only mentioned 9 of the 10 bands, and I think we'd be doing Deus Mortem a huge disfavor if we didn't mention them as well, because obviously with this year's album, that was last year.
I'm going out of my mind with time.
Yeah, that was last.
It all blends into one. That's the fact of the matter.
That was last year, but I mean that's one of the best black metal albums in ages. I really love that band to
listen to them all the time, and it's a personal favorite. So I'm so excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what we really want to do, we've seen that there's been people coming from 18, almost 20 different countries,
nations.
Yeah. And of course, we're honored to host people from Australia and New Zealand, from Chile and Canada, the States, all over Europe, and of course if you're coming from another country and you see us, come up and say hi, and we'll give you a huge personal welcome as well, because we are honored to have people traveling from all over the globe to our little thing in the icy cold of Norway.
Yeah, and when you travel that far for our little festival, you should get value for bucks. I
fucking love to hear that. That's so cool, man. You know, like I just hearing stuff like that, it just makes me happy, you know, because, you know, I just commend people. You know, I mean, I have friends, you know, who will like travel from Australia and then do like a tour in Europe of just attending gigs, you know, and not just attending any gigs, but like the cool shit, like the stuff that you and I are, all of us are like discussing right now. And I really respect that, you know. I really, really like that, you know, because obviously from my own background, we had to do a lot just to even listen to this music, or just to even be able to sort of just even consume it or participate in it. And then especially it got more dangerous when it came to actually playing this stuff, you know, and also playing those small number of underground shows in Iran that we played, you know, where it's like you can actually get pretty fucked up for just doing that. It's, you know why I say it's nice to me, because obviously that same spirit of rebellion of wanting to take metal, and especially taking extreme metal and then kind of pushing it further against all odds, whether it's financial odds or logistical odds, and then just like grabbing it like a sword and then fucking driving it through everything that the world throws at us. It makes me really happy to know that regardless of the background, that same passion is mutual and it's something that's shared, you know, and that someone will still travel from somewhere like Chile or South America or Australia just to come to Norway, just to listen to fucking good music and have a great fucking time. It's very wholesome. Makes me feel good.
Thank you.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you so much, guys. You know, all I can say is just total support to Orgiym Satanicvm. Is there any kind of like, as we kind of like wrap this up, anything you guys want to kind of share with people? Anything you want to put out there, whether it's about the tickets, any kind of final messaging? This is your time. Do as you will.
Okay. You're
Yeah, well, the tickets are out there. The on Ticketmaster, you can find us on Facebook. We're switching between internet providers at the moment, but our website will be up again pretty soon, and just basically come and visit us. We promise a completely unique underground black metal experience in in its natural habitat. You will not regret it.
Fantastic. There we go, guys. Thank you both so much for your time this evening. I really appreciate it. And to all who've been listening, support the fuck out of Orgiym Satanicvm. Attend it if you can. And we'll see you on the next episode of Iblis Manifestations.